Yeah.
and still had a good nucleus of their Cup guys still around. Even a lot of them went to the WHA.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I missed Bobby Orr by 1 year. He left in '76 when I got here.
Got to Boston.
Yeah.
Did you ever play against Bobby?
I have one memory of playing with the Rangers against Bobby in Boston, and they were killing a penalty. We had the power play,
Yeah.
and Bobby had the puck, and he wouldn't give it to us. And I'm chasing him around the net, and I'm like, Bobby, give me the puck, will you? Well, but no,
A lot of people have
that's
that
my
story.
one memory of Bobby. Maybe because of his injuries, we just never played against each other very much. But that was my one memory of him skating around the net, how chase him around the net and shoot the puck down the ice.
So you played against Bobby, and you played on a line with Wayne Gretzky for
in the
Team
'84
Canada?
Canada Cup.
Yeah.
I played in 2 Canada Cups for Canada, '81 and '84, and I had the fortune to play on the right side with Gretz in '84. And we had lost the Canada Cup in '81. We won every game in the round robin. We beat the Russians 7-3. It was the same team that played the U.S. team that beat them in 1980, the Miracle team. Same Russian team. We played them the next year, and this is the best NHLers they can put together. You had a young Ray Bourque, a young Gretzky. You had the line from the Islanders with Trottier. You had Marcel Dion, Gilbert Perreault, Larry Robinson.
Jeez.
I mean, probably the best lineup on paper you ever want to get. Breezed through the round robins, beat the Russians 7-3, and played them in a one-game final, and they kicked their butt 8-1. 8-1. It was 1-1. I just happened to watch the tape recently. It was 1-1 of the middle of the game, and then they just scored a couple and just took the game right over, and that was it. We looked tired, not looking back, but looking at the tape. I hadn't remembered the game very well. And unfortunately, it was in the Montreal Forum, so I just wanted to get out of Montreal as quick as I could. It was really the first time Canada lost the Canada Cup.
My goodness.
And it was in Montreal.
In Montreal.
So when '84 rolled around, all the pressure was on us to bring it back to Canada. And it was out in Calgary and Edmonton we were mainly playing, but we didn't gel as a team. We ended up in 4th place. We ended up actually almost missed the round robin. Wouldn't that be something? Canada doesn't get in. But we ended up playing Russia, who ended up in first in the semifinals, and we beat them 3-2 in overtime. So we ended up playing the Swedes for the Canada Cup. And Eagleson, who was running it, who spent time in jail, he was the head of our union. He was the guy.
He was Bobby's agent too, right?
Bobby's agent.
Yeah.
He was my agent my first 8 years.
Really?
And the head of our union. Who else do you think you could trust but the head of your union?
I know.
Boy, was I wrong. But because we lost a one-game final, he decided it was going to be a 2-out-of-3 final now. So that would never happen again, right? Give the boys a chance in case they lose the first one. But we ended up beating the Swedes 2 straight and ended up winning the Canada Cup back. But '87, I never played in '87, but that was the best one because Lemieux and Gretzky were on the same line.
Really?
And they played the Russians in a 2-out-of-3 final, and every game was 6-5. And Lemieux and Gretzky scored the winning goal to make it 6-5 in the last minute of the third game. So
oh, my goodness.
You can buy those tapes. It's one of the great.
Few fights, too, and...
Not many.
Not many.
We had enough guys. I always said we had enough guys on our team to fight. Somebody had to kill the penalties.
Yeah. But when you do get in a fight, I mean, I played hockey until high school. I never played college or anything.
Right.
And so I was never in, like, an actual fight on the ice. But I was always... Or off the ice. I don't know.
I was a big street brawler, but I didn't fight on the ice.
I just run when things start heating up. So
fight or flight.
But I'm always wondering like what's going through someone's head, especially if they don't fight all the time. Like what you know what's going through Sean Thornton's head or something.
Well, the difference
like that,
is that if you fight all the time and it's part of your game, your repertoire, and you have the confidence that you're pretty good at it.
So you're expecting it.
Then you can dish it out, or you can get ready to take it, or whatever. Guys that don't fight all the time usually have to fight out of anger. You're not just going to fight because it's the time of the game you should fight, or somebody says, "Come on, let's go." My coach sent me out here. Well, all right.
Yeah.
So you oblige them. Usually, guys like me, or and a lot of guys I know, usually you got to get mad to fight.
Yeah.
So my fights usually came out of somebody doing something to me that I didn't like. But again, my whole career, because I was a goal scorer, was filled with people trying to get me off my game.
Yeah.
So, I always took the attitude that I'm not going to show even if I was affected by something that somebody did, I would never show it.
Give them what they want.
And I would never give them the satisfaction to even fight them or slash them or take a penalty, because you always get the penalty if you retaliate.
Yeah.
The guy that does it first never gets it. It's always the retaliate. So I would never even try to retaliate.
Yeah.
That's why I always had low minutes, because I tried to discipline myself that I would never let them think that they were getting to me.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Yeah, just because, when I feel like if George Laroque, I saw a video of him, he went out and it was, he skated up to the face-off, and he just asked the guy, "You want to go?" He said, "Yeah." And all right, good luck. And I was like, come on. But, when Luch fights, he's, angry, and you can see it in his eyes, but I'm just...
Yeah, Luch isn't, even though he fights quite a bit, he isn't the type that mainly because he plays on the first two lines, the first line, actually. The coach doesn't want him in the penalty box a lot.
Yeah.
So he's not going to send him out there and tell him, you should go out
or hurt his hand or something.
Get somebody, or, it's the time in the game to fight or whatever.
Yeah.
He usually fights out of either anger over he's not playing very well, or somebody does something to him, or it looks like he is mad. Either he psychs himself up for it, or what. But it's not really like, okay, you want to go,
Yeah, or
once
somebody
in a while you'll see him do that, but not very often.
Yeah, like Bergeron, he fought in a playoff game once, and
it's all passion.
He
The
did
more
pretty
that's
good
on
too.
the line, the more that heated it gets.
Yeah,
and sometimes you see players that don't normally play that way or act that way come out of their shell and play a little differently.
Yeah,
and sometimes it elevates their game.
Yeah,
I just watch Marchand now. He started as a scrapper, or, he'd be taking stupid penalties, and then he got more ice time. Then he had the great playoff and the cup run, and now he's the leading scorer on the team, and he's not getting all those penalties. So you learn there's a fine line between being effective and doing a job like getting other people off their game.
Yeah.
But then if you're scoring goals, you can't score them from the penalty box.
He's still a very good agitator, though.
He's a good agitator, but he's not doing it as much as he did. And
no,
some coaches would say, "Hey, I want you to do more of that and forget about the goals." But
yeah, he's not doing it at a Sean Avery level.
So I know guys that were fighters that all of a sudden started putting the puck in the net. And we were playing with Don Cherry, and Don would say, "Hey, you're not a goal scorer."
Yeah,
he'd be mad at him for scoring because they're not fighting.
It's not why you're on this team.
They're not fighting as much as they should. You got to fight. You're not a goal scorer. It was funny. Tell them not to score.
So, guys that on other teams that you've had conflicts with, and I know that it's part of the game, but I feel like myself, if someone did something to make me mad, I personally hold grudges for a long time. Yeah. I know that's me, but
some guys do.
Yeah,
I know guys that played their whole career against the other guys or fought a lot and would not talk off the ice.
Really?
And other guys, you just
because sometimes you end up on the same team.
Very often, yeah. Later on, you become friends.
Did you ever play with Chris Nyland?
No, I never played with him, but he plays on the alumni.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. So people go, "Hey, I remember the time Chris hit you in the mouth." I said, "That was 25 years ago, and I still remember it myself, but I've let it go." and as soon as 2-3 years ago, Chris and I are playing in a game in Canada, a charity game, and he turns to me on the bench. He said, "Nifty, I got to tell you, I'm still so sorry for what I did."
Yeah.
I said, "Chris, it was 25 years ago. Get over it, right?"
Yeah.
He took his punishment for it.
Yeah.
With a lot of people, and he turned an 11 tooth bridge into a 14 tooth bridge. That's all he did. Because I had already had a bridge in there, and when he hit me, 3 of the teeth under the bridge came out.
Oh.
So it was the one thing he said he regretted in his career, that as a cheap shot, he didn't like to be called a cheap shot artist.
Yeah.
Definitely was.
Because I always felt like if something like that happened to me, like if I was on stage and another comedian came up to me and hit me with the mic stand 25 years later, I'd be like, what the hell, man? It's just
well, if the guy apologized to you 1,000 times, though, you go, all right,
that's
leave it
true.
alone.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
I got it. Thank you.
It slipped. I understand.
Right.